Decisions. Howie Roseman, it's on you, pal, this offseason. We need some wide receivers. We need them bad. We're here to talk about it today. Jeremy Burton is here. I am Adrian Fedque. Now, before we start, I want to give a shout-out to Mr. Mike Owens. Mike Owens got a job with the Philadelphia Inquirer. How about that?
Way to go, Mike.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. But unfortunately, I don't know how much he's going to be available now because he's working nights, and that's when we do these shows. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to be working during the day. So unfortunately, I don't know how much Mike is going to be around anymore, but we'll see. We got to get the guy back.
Yeah, but it is where we'll miss him for the time he's gone, but it's good to get it's a great step for him and show his writing skills.
Oh yeah.
And,
yep. So he's at the Pryor. I got to talk to him, man. Got to get Zach Berman on here. Got to get Jeff McClain on here. Got to get Les Bowen on here. Get them all on the Bitter Birds, baby.
Yeah, really take off.
Yep. So yeah, that's awesome. Great news for his side. He's working for the Inquirer now. So great for him, and congrats. So much deserved, well deserved. People don't know how talented he is. So great for him. All right, so let's get into what we want to talk about today. We're going to talk about. We're just basically going to go down some names, and we're going to say yes or no, whether or not we're interested. And we kind of done a show like this already, but we spent a majority on it on Alshon Jeffery. So today we'll kind of focus on some other guys.
Yeah. I showed my interest. We both showed our interest in Alshon Jeffery, but there's other wide receivers out there that popular name with the Eagles fans. They're bringing DeSean back. So yeah. Well, what's this list you got for me?
Yeah, I'm just on Walter Football. I'm just going to run down their list. They got their rankings and stuff, so I'll do that. They actually have Terrelle Pryor as the number one ranked free agent wide receiver. I disagree with that, and my thoughts have changed on Pryor. I'm a little bit skeptical about paying a guy a lot of money. He's 28 years old. He just burst onto the scene last year. I'm a little bit worried him heading into his second season as a full-time wide receiver because all of these coaches now have all this tape on him from last year, and we saw him struggle at the end of the year. I would be a little bit reluctant about signing Terrelle Pryor now, than I was before. I still think he's going back to Cleveland. He's an Ohio State guy. I mean, whatever. But what are your thoughts on Terrelle Pryor?
I mean, he's got the physical size, the tools. I mean, he burst on the scene and was able to change positions. He was a quarterback in Oakland and then went to the Browns and became a dynamic weapon for them with crap at quarterback, and he's got, I believe he hit 1,000 yards, like almost exactly, maybe 1,077 yards, something like that. I think he was right around 1,000.
Yep.
A few touchdowns. I see your skepticism, and he's going to want, I think, big money. He's one of the top free agents. Him and Alshon Jeffery at the wide receiver position. So. Yeah, do you invest all that money in a guy that really is his first year as a wide receiver? I mean, yeah, he's probably going to stay with the Browns. I mean, I wouldn't take him for his price tag and the uncertainty. You made a good point with now all these coaches have tape on him, and he kind of came out surprised last year. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I don't think he'll be worth a huge payday, kind of with his unknown history as a wide receiver. So if he continues it, great, good for them. They still have so many other holes to fill in Cleveland. But, he's an interesting name. But, due to the uncertainty, I would probably shy away.
Yeah, the uncertainty. It's the uncertainty. And he's going to get paid more than you think. I've talked to people that, just – They don't think Terrelle Pryor is going to get a lot of money. I'm just like, he's going to get close to Alshon Jeffery money, I think. And, in terms of the year, in terms of the millions per season. I mean, he can high point the ball. I like him. I do. The uncertainty scares me. And Howie Roseman, this is what he's known for. He's known for overpaying for potential. So a little bit hesitant. All right, so that's Terrelle Pryor. So I guess no for both of us. Alshon Jeffery, we've talked about that last show. We don't really need to delve into that further. That's a yes for both of us as well. Now, Adam Schefter was on The Fanatic yesterday, and he was kind of speculating how much money he might get. And he was talking like 15, 16, 18, even $18 million. And like, shit, man, like if there's some bidding war that's going to start going on with Alshon Jeffery, I would maybe pull out of it, considering how many holes we have and, how much little money we have. So I don't know if I'd want to get into a huge bidding war for Alshon Jeffery, but I'm definitely interested.
Oh, for sure. I mean, no receiver, I think deserves, not even Antonio Brown or AJ Green are making like $20 million a year. Yeah. I think AJ Green might be around 18. He's one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, let me check that.
I mean, Alshon, as much as how great he would be, I wouldn't pay him more than 15 a year. What was that? Like a 5-year, $75 million deal. That's a lot of money. But that would be something I think he's going to get.
Yeah.
And
I think if
we're going to go all in on Alshon Jeffery, that's the most I would pay, because there's still he's one dumb mistake away from another Lane Johnson 10-game suspension. Like, and there goes a lot of that money wasted, and we're stuck to the same wide receiver dilemma that we had last year with nobody. So, there's risk there too. As much as we want him, we're not going to pay $20 million a year for him.
Yeah, and the thing too is there's a lot of teams with cap space this year, so that might just keep driving up his price tag, and it might reach a point where we just got to get out, and we just got to settle for like DeSean Jackson or some other guys. So now I'm thinking he's going to get something like 5 years, 80 million. So I think he's going over 15. AJ Green, I just looked it up. He's the highest paid receiver in terms of average per season at $15 million. So there you go. There's that. Julio, Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, they're like at $14 million. So, so if you want to look at, the average salary per season, there you go. And with the recent changes, I guess with the cap, right? Like teams are paying more. They're paying more last year for these guys.
Yeah. So now like Alshon might set the new bar for the next free agent wide receivers, top end wide receivers coming out. Like, okay, now Alshon's going to get $18 million a year. Yeah. Now, when AJ Green and Julio, their contracts go up, that like they're going to demand 20. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everyone's going to keep getting paid more. Yeah, with the whole CBA and the salary cap, that's all going up. And the Eagles don't have, we're a little strapped for cash. We still have some moves to make that we anticipate. Some players getting possibly cut, like Ryan Matthews, Connor Barwin, guys like that. Kendricks being traded, free up some cap space. But, it's a huge move to put so much money in one guy when we have so many other needs to fill.
Yeah, and there's definitely a risk, obviously. I mean, you got a guy over, 5 years. He's only played 2 full seasons. You got the PED suspension. There's a lot of things in play here. It's a risk, definitely, for sure. So I'd be interested, but again, once that price tag goes up, I'm out. So there it is. All right, now instead of going down the list, I'm going to ask this question. We just brought up Alshon Jeffery. That would be our number one guy for both of us, right? That's your number one guy?
Yeah.
Somebody else? Okay. So besides Alshon Jeffery, who's the guy you want to sign?
Besides Alshon, I've said this before. I would probably take Kenny Stills just because of his age. He's only 24. He's coming off his rookie deal. You can argue that he was a little inconsistent at times in New Orleans, but I would say that there's such a demand for the ball in New Orleans. They had a lot of weapons, and he is a speedster. He's a playmaker. I would prefer him over DeSean because he's younger, and hearing reports, it seems more like DeSean and Kenny Stills might demand around the same kind of money. So it's kind of, I would take the younger guy. In that case, they both are pretty much the same kind of player. They're both on the shorter side, speedsters. They're good at over the shoulder grabs. They're not that physical. They don't jump up and fight with defenders. But Kenny Stills, he's a little bit of a scrappy guy. He's got some attitude to him. I think he would fit well. And if we're not going to get Alshon Jeffery, I have a feeling that we could go for someone like Kenny Stills.
Yeah. All right, I'll throw my name out there. It's Pierre Garcon. I love Pierre Garcon. I know he's going to be like 31, but I think he's got 2-3 good years left just by the way he plays. He with him, it's about body control. It's about hands. So I think he'd be fine. He's a great fit. I know Howie Roseman has said he doesn't want Band-Aids anymore, but with this young receiving core, I think he would be a good veteran presence in the locker room. And I think, he'd be that reliable type of target for Carson Wentz. So Pierre Garcon, I'm a huge fan. He silently went over 1,000 yards last season, still doing big things. I've always been a Pierre Garcon fan. So that would be the guy that I would want. So Stills, for me, I've made this point before. Howie Roseman likes to overpay for potential, and I'm scared what the price tag's going to be, because it reminds me of the Rodney McLeod situation from last year. I thought he was an underrated safety. I liked Rodney McLeod, and then I saw what the price tag was, and I was like, holy fuck, like I didn't want that. So that's what I'd be afraid of with Kenny Stills, knowing Howie Roseman. Yeah, I think that's who they're going to sign. That's a Howie Roseman type of signing right there. We're getting.
I do. And you mentioned Pierre Garcon. I do. He would be a much cheaper option. Physical, good hands. Stronger guy, kind of like a better version of Jason Avant. When we had Jason Avant. Reliable, 3rd down and 5. He'll get you that 6-7 yards. I do like Pierre Garcon. I think that would be a great number 2 free agent wide receiver to sign, with a more expensive name being number 1, whether it's Alshon, Kenny Stills, or whoever. Another guy I like who would come on the cheaper side and has the connection with Joe Douglas is Kamar Aiken. He's only 28, I think. He's entering he's still in his late 20s, kind of the prime of his career, and he hasn't flashed too much, but I think he can, with Carson Wentz, can be a reliable option for him. He's a pretty big guy, who hasn't really, made a huge name for himself, but I think he would do well, and he would be cheap. That would be another guy to throw out there. I don't know how you feel about Aiken.
You know what that signing would be like? Remember when we signed Charles Johnson? That's a little cheap.
He's only 20. He's only 27. Kamar Aiken.
Let's see how old Charles Johnson was when we signed him. He actually, Charles Johnson actually wasn't terrible though. He would actually. Let's see.
He's actually 6'2" and he runs a 4.45.
There you go.
He had, I think his best year was in 2015. He had 975 grabs, 944, and 5 touchdowns.
Right. No, Kamar Aiken isn't terrible at all.
He's not terrible, and I think he'd be pretty cheap.
Let's see.
What other guys on this list?
You
liked Brian Quick. I know you said Brian Quick.
Yeah, Brian Quick. By the way, Charles Johnson was 27 when he got brought in, so it's like the same age.
Same guy, same age.
Toward Charles Johnson, towards small. I told you before the show I was watching the 2000 NFC wildcard game for the Bucks and the Eagles. Those guys were relevant. Nate Brown made a catch.
Nate Brown.
Oh,
terrible.
Nate Brown. All right, back to the list. Okay, so you threw out a name. We'll go back down the list again. All right. Okay. DeSean Jackson. He's another guy I think will be, definitely be interested in. Now the question with him is, I'm curious what his price tag is going to be too, because at first I didn't think he was going to be that much money, but according to Schefter again, listening to him, it seems like he might have a couple suitors, and I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
Buy everything.
he's going to demand a lot. I know that. And I know there's the whole backstory, but I mean, I think there was a report where he's using kind of the Eagles as leverage for other teams to get more money. You know, it's known that, you know, oh, I can always just go back to the Eagles. So, all right, so give me a little more to entice you somewhere else. I just don't see it happening. I just, as much as the fans want it, I don't see him going back to, you know, fix Chip Kelly's mistake or whatever.
Ooh.
Just don't see that.
Still holding a grudge. Still holding a grudge with Philly. Yeah, I mean, see, my thing is, if I sign him, I want him for 2 years and like an option for a third. I don't want him getting like 4 to 5 years. Now, he says he thinks he has like 4 to 6 good years left. I don't think so.
No.
He says that he can still run a 4.3. I don't know about that. But hey, he's definitely still fast as hell. I mean, you can definitely get downfield still. Again, I'd love him for 2 to 3 years, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that. And if there's multiple suitors, he's going to want more years. So I don't know if that's going to happen. All right, so I guess we can go through a couple names real quick now that we're getting to some more shitty names. All right, Adam Thielen is a free agent. I like him, but he's a slot guy, and we have Jordan Matthews.
I have a name for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, he's battled injury.
Okay.
But how about Robert Woods?
He wouldn't be terrible. He's young too. He's like Stills' age. He'd be cheap.
Yeah, he's only he's 20. He'll be 25. Mm-hmm. I was just looking him up. The one, you know, he's missed just a couple games each year. Not, you know, 2 games he missed his first year, played his full second year, missed 2 games his third year, and 3 games last year. But, you know, when he's on the field, he's been productive, and he hasn't had any quarterbacks to throw to him. So these are all, any receiver we bring in, I think will become better with Carson entering his second year and expanding his game a little bit. And just Carson will make receivers better. That's what I think.
Yeah. Whoever we bring in is immediately going to be the best receiver on our team. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
other than that, the list is pretty barren.
It's not like great. The next name, which has been a popular name due to the new wide receiver coach Mike Groh, Kenny Britt, eclipsed 1,000 yards for the first time in his career last season. 28 years old. He's got some physical talent, but he's got an attitude too, and he's known for being lazy. So he's a guy. I mean, he might come in here because of that connection with Mike Groh. He had his best year under him, but I don't know if I really like Kenny Britt.
Yeah, I mean, he can always go off the deep end again. He's had some off the field issues. I mean, hopefully he's matured enough. That was back when he was younger.
Yeah, he is 28 now, so you'd hope, you know, because DeSean Jackson has matured with age.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, Britt could, you know, he timed his best season to have pretty perfectly going into being an unrestricted free agent. I see him moving on from LA because, you know, it's LA and their offense is pretty putrid. So we'll see. There is that connection there. It wouldn't surprise me if we literally sign Kenny Britt and Pierre Garçon and then go into the draft like that. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It would be not as expensive as going all in for Alshon Jeffery. And, you know, that would be better than what we have. So, you know.
Yeah.
Kenny Britt's not on the top of my list by at all. But, you know, out of the list isn't that great.
By the way, I've finally figured out how to use this chat. And my boy EDP is in the chat tonight. What up, EDP?
What up?
Anyway. Yeah. I'll talk to EDP. I'll talk to you after the show because we got to do a show, boy. So yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, next couple guys on my list. All right, well, it's not my list. It's just a list. All right, so I'll just run down a couple names and we'll see who you're interested in. Dontrell Inman obviously came on the team this year. Philip Rivers' go-to receiver with the injury to Keenan Allen. You got Cordarrelle Patterson from the Vikings, Taylor Gabriel from the Falcons, Michael Floyd, Patriots formerly of the Cardinals, and a couple names that we already talked about, Robert Woods, Kamar Aiken. So any interest in any of those names? Taylor Gabriel might be interesting. He is a slot guy, but he's fast. And I don't know how much he would cost. I mean, he did just kind of come on this year, but I've always kind of liked Taylor Gabriel, but I don't know if he would be coming here.
Yeah, that was the one name that jumped out at me when you said but I don't think, why would he, if he has the option, he would stay. Yeah, I don't think he's leaving Atlanta.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Cordarrelle Patterson, it seems like there's only a set number of plays that he can run. He does little wide receiver screens and stuff like that. I don't think he can run a route very well yet. He hasn't come into his full NFL potential yet. And if you want to sign a project and work with him, Mike Groh, work with him, and maybe he can turn him into something, because he is dynamic in the return game. He holds a record for a 109-yard return. I believe it was maybe on a field goal, or maybe it was a missed a short field goal, or maybe it was a kick return. But he has a 109-yard return. He's obviously essential. I know Mr. Phipp would love him in the return game. If you can mold him into something, there's potential there. That's another thing with Howie and potential, but you'd have to coach him up. You'd have to, as Dougie P would say, keep chopping that wood, keep loving at him, keep loving on him, keep loving on him, and coaching him up a little bit, because he hasn't reached his full potential yet. But who else did you say? Cordarrelle Patterson, Gabriel. Who else was on that?
Nobody really else. Dontrell Inman and Michael Floyd.
No thanks.
Yeah. All right. So now it gets really bad. So okay, I'll just run down a bunch of names and you just say stop if anyone catches your eye. Kendall Wright, Ted Ginn, Anquan Bolden, Victor Cruz, Terrence Williams, Brandon LaFell, Jeremy Curley. There's your boy Brian Quick. I would be interested in him. Marcus Wilson is an interesting name. He's 24 and he's with the Bears, and he has some ties to Mike Groh. Marquise
Brandon LaFell.
Who's that?
Yeah, even the first name, Brandon LaFell is okay. Kendall Wright. Kendall Wright's not bad.
Kendall Wright had that great year
a couple good
years ago, and he hasn't been anything since.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys are just dart throws.
Yeah, they are Ruben Randalls and Chris Gibbons.
Exactly. So, I mean, I wouldn't even waste my money on them. Trying to, I have another list here. I'm just, it's pretty much all the same guys. I'm just looking.
I've got more names. I mean, I can keep going.
Anquan Bolden is older, but I would take Bolden on a 1-year deal, cheap 1-year deal. I mean.
Yeah.
What? Veteran presence. I mean, if we draft a young receiver, who better to talk to than Anquan Bolden? I mean, he was still making plays towards the end of the year for the Lions last year, like tough catches. They made the playoffs, and he had a few good games down the stretch. I mean, he can still play. I give him another year at least.
Yeah. He's got that body and that physicality that it feels like he can last forever. He's like James Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. So
forever.
Yeah, so I would not mind a 1-year deal. Throw him a few million for Bolden.
Okay. Now I'm just okay. There's nobody. Okay. Josh Gordon. I skipped his name for a reason.
Yeah. He might not even be eligible to be in the NFL, He's got to get reinstated and do all that, and then he doesn't seem to want to if he committed, I mean, if he committed himself to playing and not going back to the drugs and whatever off the field problems, I mean, isn't he in a facility now, like currently?
Well, I think he entered a facility. I think rehab facility is only like 30 days or something. So you're like, so to me, it's like it's hard for me to believe that like guys like Johnny Manziel and guys like Josh Gordon, like how are you supposed to fix your addiction in 30 days when you've been doing it for how many years? I don't understand how a rehab facility can just like that fix you, like it's like magic or something, like they're John Thornboss, you know. I mean, how many times Manziel? I mean, he was in rehab and he was back to drinking in like a month. You know, it's. Yeah. I don't think Josh Gordon can stay clean.
Yeah, I agree. And you're just looking at. I mean, it would be a very low risk, high reward, cheap, prove it contract. For 1 year, and then what? Say he goes off, and then you're forced to either he'll just go elsewhere and make money again, but then there's always that chance that he gets suspended again. And it's just not worth it. As talented he is, it's like a sad story because he's so talented. Yeah. We've seen it.
Oh yeah, for real. And he's like 27 already now. It's like crazy to think about. Really is. All right, moving on to some Eagles news. Just really quick. Jason Peters will be back with the team in 2017, despite the high price tag. See now high in marijuana and Josh Gordon. Thanks a lot, pal. So Jason Peters coming back. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I saw the numbers. And I was with and without Lane Johnson. That's my man. Wrong side of the line. But the other side of the line, the numbers were staggering for Carson with and without Lane Johnson. I saw a tweet the other day about that. But getting back to Jason Peters, I mean he's the anchor. He had another All-Pro season. I mean he's absolutely worth the price tag. Just like the leadership that he provides and on and off the field. There's just no doubt. You got to have your best offensive lineman blocking your franchise quarterback's blind side. I mean, until we whether Lane Johnson gets groomed to go over there or what have you, we groom another tackle, he's got to be in there, or else Carson's going to be on his ass a lot.
Yeah, and linemen are guys that it seems like linemen can be a little older and still play at a high level. Just to give an example, I remember like Bruce Matthews, like the Titans. He played till he was like 38, 39 years old. So Peters might still have another year or two, especially in this type of offense where he's not in that quick system like Chip anymore. He can rest. It's a slow, methodical style, and I think that benefited him greatly last year.
Yeah, Doug even mentioned it throughout the year. I mean, he knows how to manage these older veterans with the big bodies, specifically Jason Peters. I mean, he might not. He does. I mean, come on. This is a veteran of I don't know how many years. I mean, 12 years maybe he's been in the league or more. 12 to 14 years. He doesn't need to practice every day. He knows what he's doing out there. You don't have to run him as hard and give him days of rest during the week so he's fresh for Sunday. And they managed him well last year, and he had another All-Pro year at his age. So that'll continue. There's no reason not to. He didn't have those nagging injuries. It seemed like he was on the ground every other play 2 years ago. In 2015, he had a healthy year last year, so that's great. He's the anchor of that line, man. Yep. You gotta have those two tackles. It's knock on wood. As long as Lane Johnson plays a full season, I think our offensive line's in good shape, especially with the depth we've seen from our rookies last year, and they've shown they can hold their own, and they'll only develop further.
Yeah, and again, going back to that 2000 game that I referenced earlier, looking at that line, man, Trey Thomas, John Runyon, how much push they were able to get I mean, they were running the ball with Chris Warren and Brian Mitchell because Deuce Staley was hurt. And so Chris Warren was picking up these huge yards. Warren Sapp did nothing in that game. So, the offensive line was key. It's key, man. Got to build that line. Got to have those tackles.
Let me see if I can get this right. The 2000 offensive line, all right? Hold up. Trey Thomas.
I got to think about it, too.
Jermaine Mayberry. John Runyon. John Wellborn, I think. And
I think John Wellborn was on that team.
And it wasn't Hank Fraley yet. It was Jamal Jackson.
Actually, it might have been Bubba Miller.
John Wellborn and Jermaine Mayberry were the guards, I think. And Jamal Jackson.
I think Bubba Miller might have been our.
You know what? I think you're right. No, Jamal Jackson wasn't yet. And then Fraley came when Jackson went down. It might have been. I think you was right. I think you're right. It was Bubba.
Honey Buns was.
Yeah. Honey Buns was like the Super Bowl year. Yeah, it was later.
Yeah. So all right, let me pull up the roster now. Let me see if I can. Who you said? Wellborn and Jermaine Mayberry.
As the guards, yeah, I'm pretty sure I nailed those.
Not sure about Wellborn. He might have been later too, but you might be right. Oh, come on. Give me, who started these games. Okay, here we go. Pro Football Reference always prevails. Come on. They're not giving me shit.
Yeah, that's nice. You can go to those flashback games. That's fun.
Yeah.
What do you do that on NFL.com or something?
Well, that game's on YouTube, but as I told you, I have a lot of Eagles games on DVD and VHS and stuff like that. But you can find that 2000 game on YouTube, I believe. Let's see. All right. This is, come on. This is way harder than it should be. Okay, here we go. All right. Here we go. Here are your boys. You were right about your guards.
Doug Brzezinski, Jermaine Mayberry.
Yeah. Jermaine Mayberry and Wellborn started your 16 games. Trey Thomas, John Runyon, Bubba Miller was your center, and they all started all 16 games.
Nice. I got 4 out of 5. Yeah, it was.
That's good.
You got the center. Yeah.
I don't know if I got all 5 right. I don't even remember what I said, so I might have gotten them all. I don't know. I'll say I got 4 out of 5 with you. Okay. Darnell Autry was on that team. Oh God.
Was Tim Hawk on that team?
Yes. Yes.
Tim Hawk.
Tim Hawk. Jeff Thomason caught a touchdown in that game. Does that dance? Remember that? He does
the long blonde hair. Number 83, I think.
Jeff.
I always remember everyone by the numbers.
He slams the ball and then he does the T.
For Thomason. Yeah.
He did the T before T.O. That's copyright infringement, T.O. Oh man, Paul Grass-Manis. Oh man, some of these names. Anyway, we should probably end this show. So I said I was going to keep it short, and it never is. Al Harris was our 3rd cornerback on that team. And he was a starter, like a good starter.
We had our corners were so good.
Oh, Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor.
That's secondary. Oh, that's secondary. Oh, that was the tits.
Oh. Right after we get off, I'm not going to do. Yeah.
Who was the strong safety though next to Dawkins? Was it Damon Moore?
Damon Moore.
Yes.
Damon Moore had an interception that game. If I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
That was a good pull by me. 13-year-old Jeremy. Damon Moore.
Oh, I do have something else we can talk about. Because people are overreacting to Carson Wentz working out with Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
They share the same agent, so I don't know if people know that. So they're with and he was out in California. Latavius Murray obviously played in Oakland, so he's out there anyway. I would not be interested in Latavius Murray. I'm not paying him like $5-6 million a year. You're basically going back to what you did with Ryan Matthews if you want to sign Latavius Murray. You're signing a 27, 28-year-old running back for $5-6 million. I'd rather have, Dalvin Cook in the first round or wait for a running back because it's a good class this year. So I don't want to get a running back in free agency. We have too many holes, too many other needs. We don't need them.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a little on the overrated side. He had like one big game, not this past year, but the one before, and he came on the scene. He had like 150 yards and multiple touchdowns, and then it was all on from there. And then he was in a committee last year. Yeah, I don't think we're going to sign a running back. I don't think we're going to draft a running back in the first round. Eagles just don't do that. The Eagles haven't drafted a running back in the first round since Keith Byars in 1986. Joe Douglas and the Ravens have not drafted a running back in the first round since Jamal Lewis in 2000. I just don't think we'll draft a running back, but not in the first round. I think the first round is going to be a corner or receiver. I'm like 99.9% sure of that. But, yeah, stick with Sproles, Smallwood, get a third-round guy maybe. I don't know, Kareem Hunt, where he would fall, from Toledo. He looked like I like him a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people like him. Kareem Hunt. Another guy that people really like is Alvin Kamara, Tennessee guy, but he's like shooting up draft boards right now. So, like, people wanted him like late second, early third. He might go in the first, so he might not even be available. If Dalvin Cook is there at 14, I don't care about the history. I want him.
History tends to repeat itself, man.
Unfortunately. So Howie Roseman's going to continue to overpay for potential. Great. Awesome.
Yeah, I hear people are liking Cook more than Fournette. I mean, I'm not. I just go by what I read. I don't really.
I think they're
don't
both
watch a lot. I don't watch a lot of college football. But I'll take your word for it. If he's that much of a stud, then. And if Mike Williams was already taken, and yeah,
I'd rather have Cook over Williams. I think he's going to be. I think Cook's going to be good.
That's pretty bold. I know how everyone loves Mike Williams.
I love Dalvin Cook. Dude. Oh, he's a bowling ball and he's fast and he's got vision and cutback ability. Oh, he makes me come in my pants.
Does he have Zeke potential? Like that good?
Yes, that's why I want him.
Okay.
He is a workhorse. He's gonna be. Oh, dude, he would improve everything, man. Like you start running that ball, you start doing the play action. You bring you bring in Alshon Jeffery, little play action down the right sideline.
I obviously would take him. I'm siding with history because that's just how it goes, and he might not be there at 14 either. But
no, he may not be. He may not be at all. Yeah, so Mike Williams might not be there, Fournette or Cook. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, if those three guys are gone, I think they're definitely probably going to go cornerback. So that's probably what it is. And I like Sidney Jones and Marshawn Lattimore at Ohio State. Those are the two guys I like.
So there's 5 players that you just named. Receiver, 2 running backs, 2 corners.
One of them will be there.
One of them should be there because that's more than a third of the picks that go before us.
Yeah.
So the chances are, out of those 5 guys, there's only going to be 8 other players picked. To equal 13. So literally 8 players, and those 5 would have to get picked, and then we would really get screwed at 14. So a lot of people need. We need defense. There's a lot of names out there. People are going to take quarterback, which helps us. If a quarterback goes in the top 10, that's good for us. Or even 2 quarterbacks in the top 10, we're golden. We're getting one of those guys for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah. Gosh, I was about to say something epic and I forgot. Oh well, it's all good. Yeah, I got nothing. All right, I guess we'll do final thoughts right now. Got anything?
Final thoughts. Trust
Fuck Brian Colangelo.
Trust the process. Does that mean anything anymore? He said we're not going to tank anymore. We're going back into. We don't want to win this year. We want to get the Lakers pick and our pick to be high. We need.
Well, Kyle and I are about to do a show, so we're about to rip Brian Colangelo a new asshole.
Yeah, we have to get like two top 10. We have to get two. We have to get that Lakers pick, and we have to either swap with Sacramento or our pick be pretty high as well. This is a huge draft. We got to get two solid guards.
Yeah.
In the top 7. If we need like 2 picks in the top 7.
Fucking Brian Colangelo talks shit all season long on Sam Hinkie. Subtle hints. Subtle shots. And the trade he made today was worse than anything Sam Hinkie did when he was in Philadelphia. I'm saving it for the show. I'm pissed.
And I love how Joel Embiid stepped up, and like he's just such a good leader and teammate and everything. I mean, Embiid basically said like about his injury, he didn't like the transparency. Like they've been leading on that. Oh, it was the bone bruise. But Joel Embiid knew right away. They told him like it could be 3 weeks. Like, but they just kept saying bone bruise day to day to try and like keep ticket sales up. They're like, oh, he could be back this day. Like, that's messed up.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm going to wait with Kyle. It's going to be an epic show.
Yeah, I'll have to tune into that one. But that's all I got.
I'm just trying to process everything.
What's that even mean anymore?
Oh, man. Brian Colangelo is quickly becoming on my hate list.
I can see that.
Brian Colangelo, you just made the list.
You don't want to go on the Adrian Van list?
No. No. I'm stealing that's a Chris Jericho thing. I don't know if you don't watch wrestling anymore, but I do.
Yeah, I know. Obviously know him from before, but I didn't know he has a list now.
Yeah, dude, it's I'm not going to explain it because you haven't watched wrestling, but he has this list where he scribbles names down, and the way he does it, he takes his pen. He's like, say, I don't know, Howie Roseman takes his pen, snaps it. You just made the list, and then he writes his name down. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it got so bad. I mean, it was good in like the year 2000 when I watched it.
Oh yeah, I watch Raw in like, I don't know, 15 minutes because I DVR it and just click fast forward. So, but yeah, it's definitely not as good as it used to be. But anyway, we made the show a lot longer than intended, so I'll cut it out now. Unless you got anything else you want to say.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show. It was an awesome show. Brian Colangelo, you just made the list. We're out.